What's going on, guys? Gent716 back here again, and today I want to talk to you guys about these playoff reactions, just real quick, not too long, and yeah, let's hop straight into it. So, Alabama is fifth, Utah is seventh, Oregon is sixth, Georgia is fourth. Pretty much the same rankings. LSU is number one. I'm actually kind of shocked by that. I thought LSU's performance against Ole Miss, Plumlee rushing for over 200 yards, letting another team come back on them and challenge them. It wasn't like the 30 points was in garbage time, man. It wasn't like it was in garbage time. Ole Miss almost came back on them. And I honestly felt like the playoff committee would put Ohio State over LSU. But again, in my opinion, as long as you're ranked in the top four, it doesn't matter where you're ranked. Now, of course, for Alabama and Oregon and Utah and Oklahoma, right now, those are the four teams that are battling right now for playoff spots. Of course, you got Penn State, Minnesota, and a couple other teams that are battling. But I'm just not confident that those teams would win against the likes of Ohio State and Ohio State. I'm just not confident that that would happen. Now, the way that is looking right now, it's looking like one of the two Pac-12 schools will get in, because I don't think Georgia beats LSU. But if Georgia does beat LSU, that's two SEC teams in, and that knocks Alabama, Utah, and Oregon and Oklahoma out of the discussion. But that's if Georgia beats LSU. Now, for, let's say, Ohio State and Clemson, depending on the places, right? If Georgia, Georgia's at fourth, but if they beat LSU, what would Georgia's place be? Would Georgia be at number one? Would Georgia be at number two? Would Clemson fall back? Would Ohio State fall back? It's just, I think that for now, these honestly could be the four teams, but the slots could be switched by the end of the season. As far as Alabama, I'll start off with them. As far as, what are the best, what's the best chance for them to get in? Well, they got to win out. You got to beat Western Carolina, and now you got to beat Auburn. And I think that the good thing for Alabama is that if they beat Auburn with the backup quarterback in Mac Jones, and let's say they win in a very, very convincing manner, then it could be a possibility that Alabama gets in. But that's if Georgia has to lose against LSU for that to happen. To be honest with you, Oregon and Utah could win out. I just don't think that the playoff committee is going to really choose Oregon and Utah over Alabama. I just don't. Utah hasn't played anybody. Oregon hasn't played anybody. I've said this thousands of times. They just haven't. Alabama would have more quality wins than both Utah and Oregon combined, as far as teams that were in the top 25 that were ranked. And plus, they would have the most impressive win because they beat a team in Auburn that beat Oregon on a neutral field. And that is more impressive, in my opinion, winning a game against one of the best defenses in the country in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Again, Auburn's a team that lost to the number 4 team, the number 1 team, the number 10 team, and I forgot who else they lost to. I'm trying to think who else they lost to. I forgot who they lost to, but they lost to quality opponents. No, they lost 3 times. It was just those 3 times. I'm just thinking that I was about to say Alabama, but yeah, they lost 3 quality games. Great quality losses. Those are the teams that they lost to, right? And Oregon they've looked impressive, but they just haven't looked as dominant as what Alabama has consistently looked like, as what, in Utah hasn't looked consistently dominant as well. I just don't get why Oregon and Utah would get in. Listen, the conference championship thing, I guess I can understand, but Alabama would have a more impressive schedule than what Oregon and Utah would have, right? Oklahoma, could they get in? Possible, very, very possible. I wouldn't like it. Utah and Oregon fans wouldn't like it, but it's possible that they can get in, right? You win the Big 12 championship, you would have more ranked opponents than all 3 of the teams I named before combined. Especially they might there's a possibility that they play Baylor twice. There's a possibility that Oklahoma State could get in. There's just, Oklahoma could get in. Now, they haven't had the most impressive schedule in the world. This defense has looked suspect the last 3 games. They've been down twice by over 20 points. Now, they came back and won one of those games, and the other game they almost came back and won against. But you've been down 20-something times. You almost lost to an unranked Iowa. You almost lost to now a ranked Iowa State football team that was on the road. That was at home. Oklahoma just doesn't look impressive, but they would have a more impressive resume than what Utah, Oregon, and Alabama would have if they win their conference championships. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see if Oklahoma could sneak their way the way in. But if Georgia wins the SEC championship, doesn't matter. It's Georgia and LSU in the playoffs, and everyone else is eliminated. But if Alabama, if they could have an impressive win, let's say they win the game by 3 touchdowns against Auburn with Mac Jones, I don't think that's going to happen. But if they can win by 3 touchdowns against Auburn in Jordan-Hare Stadium, where teams have struggled in that stadium, that's a huge accomplishment. Even for an Alabama team without Tua, that's a big accomplishment actually, and that actually kind of raises the question. Well, we've proven that even without Tua, we can compete with anybody. We've had a situation where we've been dominant the entire season. We've had a situation where we've been down and beaten, and we almost came back and won the game. And now we're in a situation now where our starting quarterback is out, our best player, but now we have a backup quarterback that's putting up a more dominant performance. Kind of sounds familiar to Ohio State in 2014. Now Ohio State, they had to. Cardale Jones played in the Big Ten championship game when this happened, right? Mac Jones has an opportunity against Auburn, just like how Cardale had an opportunity against a good Wisconsin team. Mac Jones just has a huge opportunity going against an elite Auburn defense with a ton of NFL talent in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Auburn's going to be high. They're still ranked high. The committee still ranked them pretty high. I just don't see even if Oregon and Utah, when they play each other, and if whoever wins, right? Unless it's by a dominant margin, I don't see how those two schools could get in past Alabama. I just don't see that happening. And I think that the playoff committee, from what we've seen, even them being ranked 5th, even with losing Tua Tagovailoa, I think that they also see that you can't count on Alabama. And I think by the end of the day, if the situation goes right for Alabama, and if Alabama beats Auburn convincingly, it's a close game in the Pac-12 championship. Even if Oklahoma wins the Big 12, I just don't see a way how you can. I don't see how you can say Bama doesn't get in. I just don't. But as far as this goes, I think the Pac-12 champion gets in. I think that Bama will be left out, probably at 5th. Oklahoma wins the Big 12. They're probably at 6th. And I think Georgia loses to LSU. That offense is just horrific. But if Georgia beats LSU, it doesn't matter. Georgia's in the playoffs, and so is LSU. And everyone else is eliminated. And I just don't see any shakeups. I don't see Ohio State losing anytime soon. I don't see Clemson losing anytime soon as well. And again, LSU is in regardless because of their strength of schedule. So anyway, guys, that's all I got. If you guys enjoyed the video, would appreciate it if you guys liked the video, share the video, and also subscribe and hit notification bells so you guys won't miss any content from me, because I'm bringing it almost every single day. And thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you guys so much for even stopping by my channel. And hope you guys have a great day. So this is Jan716. I'm out. Peace.